أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. The topic of my speech today is dangers of the age and safeguarding of Islamic values. To say the least, this is a vast subject, and I will, inshallah, bring to your attention some of the many dangers that are affecting mankind and threatening the very basis of our moral and just Islamic values, beliefs and standards. It is reassuring that Islam helps and provides us with guidance which, if followed and practiced, will safeguard us who hold Islam dear to our hearts from all evils and immoral dangers that exist within society. The dangers I have chosen to discuss are materialism, alcohol, gambling, the internet, the free social mixing of men and women, diseases such as AIDS that are closely related to unchecked and uncontrolled promiscuity, and finally deceit and untruthfulness. The first topic under discussion is materialism, and the Holy Quran refers to this condition where it states, "Vying with each other for amassing wealth had made you oblivious to God. Even when you reach the graveyards, nay, you will soon come to know. Nay, again, you will soon come to know. Nay, were you to know the certain knowledge, you will surely see hell in this very life." The desire to own things and to fulfill that desire occupies a very prominent place in the struggle to find contentment for most people. Newspapers, cinema, television and radio repeatedly broadcast to lure prospective and often susceptible customers to buy the latest accessories or other fashionable luxury items. And shopping centres are specifically designed with images of fashion and glamour to entice us as we walk past. Unfortunately, the term keeping up with the Joneses is more prevalent throughout the world. A high-paying job, a fully furnished modern house, a new car and expensive clothes are high on the priority lists of most people who see them as must-have commodities, rather than asking themselves, do I really need it or can I really afford it? When material wealth and values becomes your goal in life, you become blind to the financial nightmare that inevitably comes with it. In pursuit of that goal, a person often becomes selfish and loses consideration for the welfare of others and has no regard for the true values of life at all. A superficial glance at some national economies, especially those in the West, give the false impression that they are rich and flourishing. A superficial look at normal family living standards also gives this same false impression. However, on close inspection, you will find that in most cases, all the amassed wealth of a nation or a family in the form of houses, cars, furniture, clothing, and major household items have been bought on credit or at a hidden price. Any economy, whether national or individual, which relies on spending unearned income, does so at a very high cost. Most economies are run on the basis of interest, and banks are ever willing to lend money. 30 years ago, it was not so easy to borrow money from any financial institution, as there were safeguards in place based on personal income and the ability to repay the loan. However, many of these restrictions have now been removed, so much so that people who are engulfed in debt are encouraged to borrow more, and ultimately they are not really borrowing from the banks, they are borrowing from their own personal future. The promised Messiah, Hadrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad alayhi salam, has addressed the dangers of pursuing the wealth of the world. He said, Too much indulgence in luxurious, easy, irresponsible living is a curse, as it is ill-mannered and heartless to be indifferent to the sufferings of others. Every rich man is as much answerable over the due discharge of his obligations to his Creator and his fellow men as a poor man is. In fact, a rich man is more answerable. Indeed, how unfortunate is he, for the sake of this brief life in this world, who completely turns away from God." Unquote. The Egyptian pharaohs' tombs were filled with all their riches and belongings, as they expected to take it with them into their afterlife. They arrogantly thought they could take their amassed wealth with them into the next world. But at least they thought about it, but wrongly concluded about the hereafter. People in this age seem to have no thoughts of their life after death, and this is the main cause of their moral and spiritual decline. They remain engrossed in worldly pursuits and desires until death comes upon them and they find they have wasted all their precious life chasing perishable wealth instead of pursuing the Creator of all their wealth. And this increasing pursuit of materialism has caused and continues to cause a decline in spirituality. It is the blind craze for worldly things that prevents disbelievers from acquiring the higher and much more commendable moral and spiritual values. The Holy Quran states, "O ye who believe, spend out of what we have bestowed upon you, before the day comes wherein there shall be no buying or selling, nor friendship, nor intercession, and it is those who disbelieve that do wrong to themselves." So a Muslim should always try to follow the example of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Although he became the undisputed ruler of Arabia, his lifestyle was very simple, and this simple life is one that is best and uncomplicated to follow. As far as the material world is concerned, we should question the true need for material goods. We should avoid borrowing money and paying interest for luxury items. We should eat simply and well and should not waste food. Regular fasting promotes a real understanding of the needs of those who have not, and a desire to help the poor and to eradicate poverty. We should give willingly to charitable causes and respond to all appeals of the Khalifa of the day. We should encourage an interest in sport and other outdoor pursuits, as well as personal hobbies, rather than visiting expensive restaurants, cinemas, and other similar establishments. Islam doesn't forbid us to seek worldly pursuits, that is, to gain knowledge or wealth, or occupy ourselves in business and industry. It only changes our point of view. It teaches us to give preference to divine commands over everything else, and in this way we acquire spiritual blessings and God's pleasures as well as worldly attractions. Devotion to God doesn't deprive us of worldly rewards. In fact, these rewards follow us like a servant. Our goal is our God, and we must keep this goal in our mind every minute of our life. Excessive materialism is at the root of many social problems, such as gambling, narcotics, and crime, which often also lead to family, social, and community breakdown. Likewise, an even greater malaise which destroys family life and has a huge destructive impact on society at large is the problem of alcohol. The promised Messiah Islam addressed this issue when he said, "O ye wise, this world will not last forever. Take hold of yourself and be steady. Give up every excess. Leave all intoxicants. Alcohol is not alone in that it destroys man, but opium, marijuana, cannabis, and every intoxicant that becomes habitual disrupts the mind and eventually kills you. You must avoid them." Unquote.